students! How is everyone doing? Okay, that's good to hear. So here are the online teachers that will take part of this discussion. Starting with myself, Teacher Yumilka Bitacura. Teacher Eubelle Justine Buenafe. Teacher Allysa Bulyok. Teacher Tessy Burdeos. Teacher Sophia Veronica Cedeño. Teacher Kenneth Cordero. Teacher Geneva Diaz. Teacher Layca Dogoldogol. Teacher Jeny Dua. And last but not the least, Teacher Golda Faustino. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. Hi students! I am Teacher Yumilka Bitacura and I am the first reporter of Group 2. Okay, so last reporting, the Group 1 already discussed about the general view of art, the definition of art, the origin of art, the importance of art, and so on and so forth. So since we already know about the arts, so today we'll be discussing about the ULOB Week 1 to 4, which is all about the guiding principle of art education. But before we will proceed to our discussion, let's have first an activity. Are you excited? Very good. So are you familiar to the game Picture Reveal? Okay, that's good to hear. So the instruction of this game is you will select a number and each number has a picture behind it. So once you've chosen a number, I'll reveal the picture and you will have to guess who it is. Am I clear? Okay, very good. So, class, pick a number. Okay, number 5. Okay. Can you guess who is that? I will give you 5 seconds to guess who is that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. So as you can see the picture, this is Solomon Saprid. Very good. So class, again, pick a number. Pick. Okay, number 2. So who is this? Okay, very good. This is ang Kyuko. Very good. So again, pick a number. Okay, number 1. So who is this? Okay, so as you can see the picture, this is Napoleon V. Aberba. Very good. Again, pick a number. Number 7. Okay. So, who is this? Okay, so the picture you've seen, this is Fernando Cueto Amorsolo. Very good. So, again, pick a number. Okay, number 4. So, can you guess who is this? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. This is Hernando Ocampo. Okay, class, pick again a number. Okay, number 9. Can you guess who is this? Okay, this is Victorio Edades. Okay, very good. Again, pick a number. Okay, number 3. So, can you guess who is this? Okay, this is Diosdado Lorenzo. Okay, pick a number again. Okay, number 6. So, can you guess who is this person? Okay, this is Vicente Rivera. Okay, again class, pick a number. Okay, Maria said it's number 8. So, who is this? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. This is Juan Luna. So, the last number is number 10. Can you guess who is this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. This is Guillermo Tolentino. So those people that I've mentioned are the respectable and famous Filipino artists in the Philippines. And it will be tackled later on by my co-reporters. But before that, let's discuss first about the guiding principles of art education. So in learning and teaching of art, we individuals need to be guided to build a knowledge about it in a way that we should require more exposure to techniques, content, and especially the concepts in order to develop our skills when facing those challenges to our lives. So to be more guided about this, there are guiding principles for arts education and guiding principle in art education. So first, let's discuss the guiding principle for art education. So first principle is to promote inclusiveness by serving diverse population regardless of economic or social status, race, ethnicity, language, gender, age, or abilities. So it is important for us individuals to hire people from all backgrounds as everyone has different skills that they can provide and help to enhance the education of art. So by having this or by having an inclusive and diverse environment, this allows wider perspective to be integrated when it comes to brainstorming, problem solving, and developing new ideas in art. So the next principle is to deliver the quality programming that supports successful accomplishment of developmental milestones for youth. So as future educators, we should focus on developing a high-quality program that promotes the effective completion of developmental events for our students and personal growth for the adults. So with an emphasis of skills, development, and self-esteem and cultural awareness. So the next principle is to integrate the learning of art making skill with an introduction to arts and cultural history, including the social and political context of the art forms. So as future teachers or future educators, teaching through the arts may visually portray complex topic that can make learners easier to comprehend. That's why we should integrate the arts learning skills because students benefit from art education in the development of motor abilities, linguistic skills, social skills, decision-making, risk-taking, and originality or the creativity. So next principle is to develop artists into leaders in a way that they promote an awareness of understanding of important role of artists as citizens in society. So with this, leadership is most needed when facing a complex problem or a new experience that can't be easily quantified. So that's why artists becomes leaders because we need artists with the skills and abilities to work well with others to move forward and lead new ideas and initiatives. Okay, so the last principle for art education is to inspire all students to reach their fullest creative potential. So those guiding principle for art education is essential for us students and educators. So in the principle in art education, it is important for us educators to understand the human development of growth in order to meet the needs of students. So in a way that both collectively and individually, especially it gives an effective art curriculum, education, and evaluation. So by understanding typical patterns of growth and development, we teachers are better equipped to make appropriate educational choices. So since I've mentioned the principle in art education, let's proceed to the guiding principle in art education. So the first principle in art education is students need to build their knowledge base in arts. So because the involvement in the arts is associated with gains in math, reading, cognitive ability, critical thinking, and verbal skills. That's why art learning can also improve motivation, concentration, confidence, and especially the teamwork. So next principle of guiding principle in art education is the high school and adult learner in the arts. So the learners develop a sense of discipline and a sense of self. Okay, so the last guiding principle in art education is adolescents search for ways to communicate personal and original ideas in a way that they can perform, create, and respond to the arts that has demands hard work. And at the same time, it allows students to feel comfortable about sharing their ideas and abilities with the rest of the schools. So we should always remember that the goal of art education throughout the preschool to grade 4 is to foster young students' natural expressiveness and spontaneous creativity. Therefore, arts education begins in child early years with a solid foundation. Okay, so that's it. Did you understand? Okay, very good. So since you've already know what is the guiding principles for art education and guiding principles in art education, I have here a 3 questions in which you will identify if it is guiding principle for art education or guiding principle in art education. Okay, are you ready? Okay, very good. So first question is, adolescents search for ways to communicate personal and origin ideas. It is guiding principles in art education or guiding principles for art education. Okay, very good. This is guiding principles in art education. Okay, let's proceed to question number 2. It is inspire all students to reach their fullest creative potential. It is guiding principle in art education or guiding principle for art education. Okay, very good. This is guiding principle for art education. Very good. So, next question. It integrate the learning of art making skill. This is guiding principle for art education or guiding principle in art education. Okay, very good. This is guiding principle for art education. So let's give a round of applause for everyone. Okay, so since you've already understood our first discussion, so now let's proceed to another topic, which will be tackled with my co-reporter, Justine Buenafe. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you so much for that, Teacher Yumilka. Hi everyone, good day. I am Justine Buenafe and you can call me Teacher Eubelle. Now, it is a very fun and exciting day for us to learn. For our first topic, we have art education. Now, when you hear the word art education, what comes into your minds? Art education, it is the learning, instruction, and programming based upon the visual and tangible arts. Now, art is a very wide concept. It has a lot of meanings and different meanings from each person. Art is expression and application of human person's creative skills and imagination. Now, some artists use art as their form of communication. It expands the field of educational research and practice informed by investigations into learning through art experiences. Now, who among you here is very excited to learn through or with art? I myself is very excited whenever other subject areas or other subjects uses art in learning. Like for example, when we learn about history and we got the chance to learn it through art or through acting, that is a form of art. Now that is very exciting for me. So based on our researches and investigations, it is a big help to students. Now we have a lot of forms and types of art. We have the performing arts, which is the dancing, singing, acting. We also have the drawing, painting, sculpting, and a lot more. Now, how is art interdisciplinary? Interdisciplinarity is involving two or more academic, scientific, or artistic disciplines. Now, it means that we will be learning from two or more other areas of study. Now, it means that art is being integrated into a new subject areas or other studies. It draws connection between art and other subjects, as I've said, and it supports discussion about important issues in the society. Now, it is where art is very important and useful, because not only we can learn about art, but also in other areas such as learning about our society. Students are prepared not only in the world of contemporary art, but also in the culture and politics. Now, in this area, we will not be learning all about art, drawing, painting, but we will also try to integrate it with how we learn about the culture and politics of our or in our society. And I believe that it develops connections and critical thinking for students. Now, I have here images for you to observe and analyze. These images portrays a very famous mythical creature. As you can observe, it has a lot of different textures. This is the famous tikbalang. For your reference, this is an image of a tikbalang. Tikbalang is a titanic creature with a horse-like head but has a human-like body. So in short, half human, half horse. It is an art of a very famous Filipino artist who contributed not only in the Filipino art or contemporary art, but also in the culture and society and politics of our country. He is none other than Solomon Saprid. Solomon Saprid is very famous and known for his Tikbalang series. So the images that I have shown you are part of his Tikbalang series. He created them by welding scraps of metal. Now, it is very hard to work with scraps of metal, especially metal, because as I've said, he have done it while welding it. Now, it is where the textures are jarred in the pieces. This one man who sought to preserve our culture through his paintings and sculptures. I believe that Solomon Saprid played a big role in preserving our culture, because he made that Tikbalang series for us to not forget that culture, to not forget that we have that mythical creature that is created in the minds of Filipinos. So I believe that Solomon Saprid really is a great contributor in not only in arts but also in preserving our culture. Now, and because of that, Solomon Saprid was recognized by his unique art and his contribution to Filipino art and culture. Now, that is the first artist that is have greatly contributed in Filipino art and culture. Now, my other members will be introducing to you other Filipino artists. So, thank you very much.
Good day, my name is Allysa Bulyok, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Philippine artists that have greatly influenced the Philippine culture and society. And the one that assigned to me is Ang Q. Coke and Napoleon B. Abueva. So, before we start our discussion, I will let you to discover the words behind the jumbo letters. I'll begin by explaining who is Ang Q. Coke. He was a Filipino painter who attained prominence for his distinct portrayal of Cubist, Surrealist, Expressionist concept. He was named a National Artist for Visual Arts in 2001 for his figurative expressionist style. He was one of the most dynamic figures in Philippines art scene from 60s until his death in 2005. Ang Kyukok was born at Davao City on March 1, 1931 to Chinese parents Vicente Ang and Chin Lim. He had 4 children with his wife Mary D. Jesus. Ang Kyukok was a Filipino painter known for his expansive cubist-like works. He often chose dynamic or disturbing subject matter, frequently depicting revidocs, crucifixes, and screaming figures in an abstracted geometric style. When he asked why he often chose subjects full of such as anger, he was replied, "Why not? Open your eyes. Look around you. So much anger, sorrow, ugliness, and also madness." Kyukok gained both critical and commercial success in home country throughout the 1960s. Some of his famous gruesome paintings were made during the rule of Ferdinand Marcos, who held in the Philippines under martial rule throughout the 1970s. Kyukok was awarded a title of National Artist by his country in 2001 and continued to exhibit with success with his death on May 9, 2005 in Quezon City, the Philippines. Ang Kyukok was born for his non-mainstream portrayal of mother and child, Crucifixion of Christ. Now, let's take a look at some of the famous painting of Kyukok. Kyukok paintings serve as a reminders to a society where integrity and moral rectitude receive more lip service than practice. His art hopes to awaken the perhaps outer-deluded priorities of the world, where the basic drive towards the acquisition of wealth and deceptions in one's fellow man. And Kyukok continues to be respected but enigmatic figures in Manila art scene. Someone who does not suffer fools willingly, demanding honesty and straightforwardness from everyone is encountered as an increasing tall order in these times. For many, he seems to be an epitome of cynicism, and yet, when one looks at his art carefully, one sees that he is cynic only because he is primarily an idealist. After that, I'll move on to Napoleon Isabelo Veloso Abueva. Was born at January 26, 1930, more popularly known as Napoleon Abueva. He is a Filipino artist. He is a sculptor given the distinction as the Philippines National Artist of Sculpture. He also entitled as a father of modern Philippine sculpture. He is the first and only Boholan given the distinction as a national artist of the Philippines in the field of visual art. Abueva has 6 brothers and sister. In 1976, he awarded the status of National Artist of the Philippines by then President Marcos. He was also the youngest recipient of the title at the age of 46. Abueva has long been exposed in utilizing almost all kinds of materials. These materials include wood, adobe, stainless steel, cement, marble, bronze, iron, and others.
Among the major works of Abueva are as follows.
One masterpiece he dedicated to the Boholan is the Sandogo of Blood Compact Shrine in Bohol, Tagbilaran City, a landmark at the site of the first international treaty of friendship between Spaniards and Filipinos. This is now a tourist attraction of Bohol province. This shrine is an expression of Abueva's awareness for his roots and manifestation for his artist talent. Allegorical harpoon is one of the first creations by a Filipino artist in the hardwood in which the sons of boys are more important than the heroic representations of native ancestors. This sculpture was a national artist for visual arts of Napoleon Abueva, entry for the Venice biennially in 1964. It considers one of the best abstract sculpture and it's part of collection of Cultural Center of the Philippines. Every event has its ends, and now we also reach the end of our discussions. I hope you like it and thank you for being patient listener. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Good day everyone, my name is Tessy Burdeos. Today I will going to report about the artist who is Fernando Amorsolo. So I believe that my groupmate who is Miss Bulyok discussed to you about the artist who is Napoleon V. Abueva with the structure of a logical harpoon. So before we start, I have here some short motivations for everyone. I have 3 puzzles of pictures of a person that you are going to guess. So, for the first picture, he is the second president in the Philippines. Who do you think he is? Very good. He is Manuel Quezon. So for the second, he is the 5th president in the Philippines. Who do you think he is? Very good. He is Manuel Rojas. So for the last picture, he is the 4th president in the Philippines. Who do you think he is? That's great! He is Sergio Azmania. So as you can observe to our motivations, you can see the 3 presidents that involve the painting. 3 president is a part of the painted by Fernando Amorsolo in the Philippines because among all the paint that he did, it gave our country as the gem because of the artwork he did for our 3 president, which is very unique and kind for our artist. So before anything else, let us now discuss who is Fernando Amorsolo. So he is born in Calle, Heran and Paco, Manila on May 20, 1892. Fernando Amorsolo began to drawing and sketchings as a young boy during 1908, and he is just 13 years old at that time. In order to help and provide for his family, he sold his drawing and began to study at art under De La Rosa. So the first painting or artwork of Fernando Amorsolo is in 1908, which is the Leyendo El Periodico that has been successful, and it took him as the 2nd place at Bazaar Escolta. It is a contest that is organized by associations International Artista between 1909 and 1914. So Fernando Amorsolo is graduated with honors in painting and drawings from Art School of the Liceo de Manila. After graduating in Liceos in 1909, he entered to the University of the Philippines School of Fine Arts, developed the backlighting and techniques that become his trademarks in the Philippines that make him unique and famous in the industry of arts. So, did you know that Fernando Amorsolo is painted and sketched more than 10,000 pieces over his lifetime using natural backlighting techniques? Imagine that. And the most known work of Fernando Amorsolo is Dalagang Filipina, landscape of his family homeland portraits, World War scenes, and of course, the highlight is portrait of the president, who are Manuel Quezon, Manuel Rojas, and of course, Sergio Azmania. That is portrayed by many powerful figures in the Philippines. Mostly, the works of Fernando Amorsolo is the spec about the beauties and the splendors, focuses the society during the latest 80s and until 1950s. So Amorsolo is considered to be the most influential Philippines painter or the 21st centuries on contemporary Filipinos art and artists, such as abstract painters Frederick Aguilar Alquez. So Amorsolo has 6 big works in the Philippines, which are the maiden industry in 1921, the conversion of the Filipinos in 1931, the bombing of Independencia in 1942, the rape of Manila in 1942, defense of the Filipino women's honors in 1995, and the Sunday's morning going to the towns in 1954. It is related to the distinct events in the Philippines history. So Fernando Amorsolo is entitled by his name, the painter of the Philippines sunlight. It means that his illuminated landscapes displays magnificence of the country's sunshines and portrayed traditional Filipino costume, culture, fiestas, and ordinary occupations such as harvesting rice and mango picking. I believe that I provide you the short informations about Fernando Amorsolo. So before I end my report, I have here some of activities that you are going to answer. So the instruction is you are going to connect the questions into correct answer. So here is the first question. What year did he start painting? Second question, he sold his artwork at the age of? Third question is, who are these presidents that he paints? Fourth question is, he known as? And for the last question is, he is born in? So, let's proceed to the answer of the activity. So, number 1, what year did he start painting? So, the answer is 1908. Second, he sold his artwork at the age of? The answer is 13 years old. Third question is, who are the presidents that he paints? And the answer is Manuel Quezon, Manuel Rojas, and of course, Sergio Osmeña. For the fourth is, he known as, of course, the painter of the Philippines, sunlight. And for the last question is, we have, he is born in? So, the answer is 1892. So, to end my report and my discussions, I would like to address my greatest thank you for all listening to me. I hope we learn for this day and it gave you a lessons and knowledge. But don't worry guys, you will learn more artists about our report that is discussed by my another groupmates at the end of this day. Thank you and have a great day.
Hi everyone! Good day once again. I am Sophia Veronica Marie Cedeño and I am the next reporter. Now I will be discussing this time the fifth Filipino artist. Okay, are you curious who that artist is? But before that, first of all, Miss Tessy Burdeos already tackling about the fourth Filipino artist, which was Fernando Cueto Amorsolo. However, before we go beyond to my report or as we go along with it, let's have a motivation first so that we will be guided more about the topic. Are you familiar with the 4 pics, 1 word? Or the 4 pictures in 1 word? How about fill in the blanks? Very good. Now the activities that I mentioned are one of the challenging yet fun to learn or play with because it develops our critical thinking rather about analyzing a thing just to get the precise or correct answer. Now here is the instruction. Listen carefully. Anchored to the activities that I mentioned, I will be presenting some pictures. Below in that picture, there's name on it or the title of that picture or painting. But you must fill in the missing letters so that you will get the correct answer of what that picture or painting all about. Understood? Alright, so let's start. Are you ready? Great. The first picture. Can you guess what is it? Okay, I'll count on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good! Okay, it's the isda at mangga. And let's have the item 2. Or let's have the other one. What is those pictures or that painting? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. That picture is petals in the sun. Very good. Now let's have the last one. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, wow, you're amazing. Okay, keep it up. It is the man and Carabao. Okay, this time all of those pictures mentioned are just some of the titles of the masterpieces of the artist that I will be introducing this time. Now, I know you are very curious who that artist is. With that, I will show you a picture of him. Okay, if you are familiar with him. Now, who is he? Yes, very good. He is Hernando Ruiz Ocampo. Then he is the artist that I will be tackling about. Now, let's start. Hernando Ruiz Ocampo was born on April 28, 1911 in Manila City. No one taught him how to paint. He was the one who taught himself. Wow, how amazing it was. I wish I could be him. So, he started his career as a member of the so-called Saturday Group, a group of artists back then, and he was along with Vicente Silva Manansala and Cesar Legazpi. Now, at the age of 67 years old, he died way back December 28, 1978. Now, it was a coincidence that he died with the same day on his birthday but different month. Now, on the other hand, all of his artwork or work of arts had a large contribution to have deeper understanding about the awareness of social realities in the Philippines or issues in our country that we are facing back then until now. Okay? With that, he was best known for being, yes, very good, an abstract painter because of his abstract painting. His painting depicted about the economic dislocation such as water loss, poverty, hunger, and many more. Also depicted about the psychological dislocation such as misery, about deep emotions, okay, as it was highlighted. Now, one of his major artworks or work of art was entitled The Contrast. This abstract painting depicts a beggar eating in the mansion. Like, wow, how wonderful his creations, okay? For me, when I was in my high school days, when it was my first time I entered the museum here in Davao City, I was amazed by every abstract painting that I saw on the walls, okay? Though I do not fully understand what those paintings conveyed, unless I looked at the title onto it. Though I do not fully understand, but I was mesmerized by the creations of every painter because I'm a very appreciative person. So much for that. Moving on. Here were some of the major work of arts or masterpieces of Hernando Ruiz Ocampo, such as, very good, the first one is the Inang Balon. Okay, familiarize those paintings. We will have an activity later. Okay, the next painting is the very good Man in Carabao. Okay, the one you guessed earlier. Okay, the last one is the very good Isda at Mangga. Okay, the one also that you guessed earlier. At this time, we learned a lot from Hernando Ocampo. Now, let's have a very quick assessment, or also called as oral quiz, about what we had learned about the topic. I will show you a different abstract paintings and you'll be the one to guess of what that painting is called. Are you ready? Very good. Okay, let's start. The first picture, okay? What is it? Or the first painting was, what is it all about? Very good. It is Man in Carabao. Very good. Now, how about the second picture? Or the second painting rather? Very good. Good job. Okay, is the isda at mangga. Okay, now let's move on to the third painting. What is that? Great! It's the Inang Balon. And the last picture? Wow! Very good! It is the contrast. Okay? The contrast that I mentioned earlier. Okay? Keep it up, guys. Keep it up, class. Now, the other artist will be tackled by my co-reporters, and the next reporter after me is Kenneth Cordero. Thank you so much for listening to my report.
Thank you, Sophia, for that report. That was a wonderful report coming from you. And now, my name is Ken. Before we proceed to my discussion, let us have some activities. Do you have any thoughts about these pictures? Thank you. How about these pictures? Do you have any thoughts about these pictures? Alright, thank you for that wonderful answers. And today we will discuss all about Victorio Idades. First, Victorio C. Idades was the pioneer of modernism and the Philippine art scene. In fact, he is currently known as the father of modern Philippine painting. A lot of his paintings portray the hardships of the working class, using dark and somber colors and bold strokes. Victorio Idades was born on December 23, 1895 to Hilario and Cecilia Idades in Pangasinan, Dagupan. He obtained his early education in various schools and went to high school in Lingayen. In 1919, he left for the United States to study architecture and fine arts in the University of Washington in Seattle. Hi! Now, before we proceed with the next discussion and information, let's have a remember activity. Again, who was the pioneer in modernism and the Philippine art scene? That's right. That is Antonio C. Idades. How about, can you give me the date of birth of Idades? Do you have any thoughts or do you still remember? Alright, thank you for participation. That is correct. That is the date of birth of Idades as when it was on December 23rd, 1895. Now let's proceed with the discussion. During summer, he worked in the salmon canneries of Alaska. It was also during his stay in the US that he married Jean Garrett, which they have a one daughter named Joan. He returned to the Philippines in 1928, and in the same year he had his first one-man show at the Philippine Colombian Club. Idades also joined at the University of Santo Tomas for about 3 decades that he stayed there and became the dean of its department in architecture. It was Idades who introduced the liberal arts program, which led to a bachelor's degree in fine arts, a first in the Philippines since art was only taught in vocational schools then. Idades later formed the triumvirate of modern art with Carlos V. Francisco and Gallo Biocampo. After they produced a mural for the lobby of the Capitol Theater on Escolta Street, These began the growth of mural painting in the Philippines. However, it was also during this period that the infamous debates between the modernists and the conservatives. This was interrupted by the Second World War but resumed in 1948 with sculptor Guillermo Tolentino and painter Fernando Marcelo representing the conservatives. In 1938, Edades, together with Ocampo and Diosdado Lorenzo, established the Atelier of Modern Art in Malate, Manila. These resulted in the formation of the 13 moderns considered the pioneers of modern art in the Philippines. This group was led by Edades and included Ocampo Francisco, Lorenzo Vicente C. Manansala, H.R. Campo, Demetrio Diego, Bonifacio Cristobal, Cesar F. Legazpi, Jose Pardo, Arsenio Capilli, Ricardo Paraganan, and Anita Magsaysay Ho. Aside from this, Edades also co-founded the Mindanao Ethnoculture Foundation, which focuses on the indigenous culture and heritage of Mindanao. In the last 50 years, the subject of his paintings has become indigenite. Edades retired from the UST at the age of 70 and he was bestowed with the degree of Doctor in Fine Arts, honoris causa. He then settled in Davao after retirement. And on May 7, 1985, unfortunately, Victorio Edades passed away at the age of 89. Now, here are the major works of Edades. Among his awards, these are on 1961 Pro Patria Award given during the Rizal Centennial Celebration and 1964 Patnubay ng Sining at Kalinangan Award from the City of Manila. Now, let's take a look at Victorio Edades' works. We have The Wrestlers. That is the painting of Edades. We also have The Sketch. Here we can find The Builders. One of the beautiful paintings of Edades is The Moral. Another thing is we have The Mora Girl. Also, we have the Edades work, which is The Market Scene. And last but not the least, we have The Japanese Girl. That's it. Again, my name is Ken. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, I am Geneva Diaz and Victorio Edades is already discussing by Mr. Cordero. And now, let's proceed to our new topic, which is Diosdado Lorenzo. Before we will start, let's have a motivation first. Okay, did you know the 4 picks one word, right? Very good. Now for the instruction, I will present the 4 pictures and then you will guess the word based on the pictures. Okay, are you ready? Very good. You may start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, what is the pictures all about? Painting. Very good. Let's clap our hands for everyone. Okay, now let's move on to our discussion. So, who is Diosdado Lorenzo? Did you know that Diosdado Lorenzo is one of the famous modernist painters in the Philippines? Yes, he was born in 1906 and was largely inspired creatively by the 1920s. Key artistic innovations that had been established in the earlier part of the 20th century continued to be worked on during the 1920s and the 1930s. During this period, the careers of many inspiring and pioneering artists began to blossom, yet at the same time, there was an atmosphere of reflection and somberness following the horrors of the First World War. Major shifts in politics were happening worldwide, and Marxism took a strong hold as an ideology within artists, groups, and communities. The primary focus for art at that time was on Freudian theory and the human subconscious, and these ideas were best represented by artists including Salvador Gali, Giorgio de Chirico, André Breton, René Magritte, and Paul Delvaux. While in Paris, artists such as Brancusi, Modigliani, and Sophia established methods of art which were vivid and dynamic. Next is, he was one of the pioneers who introduced the modern 20th century type of art, which is more impressive and appealing to the eye than Fernando Amorsolo's traditional paintings. And Diosdado Lorenzo destroyed the old perspective of traditional paintings to make a way for new styles in paintings in order to form the modernist approach in painting. So his obsession with the country's landscape and the people enabled him to try with several styles of painting, including the light painting, Chinese arts, watercolor, and so on. And he tried with this kind of paintings only to discover that his fruits and vegetables was not really into it. So after that, he looked into Filipino still life, using objects such as fruits and vegetables as its model. And Diosdado prefers using watercolor than oil because he considers watercolor art to be more memorable. His artworks institute the emotive capacity of solid and vibrant colors and the use of strong broad brush strokes that radically contravene the conventional technique of the application of paint. And the painters of his time were concerned more on the fine stroke of the brush so as to create an adjacent visual facsimile of the subject. And aside from Victorio Idades, who was known as the original art rebel, so Lorenzo was also renowned the other rebel for traversing the use of distortion to reveal strength and character while sustaining the sympathetic portrayal of the life of the common people. Lorenzo bridged the gap between conservatism and modernism through his use of modern techniques in the applications of paint, and opening doors to various contemporary artists uninhibited, uncontrolled, and liberated. The integrity of artists has started to be given priority and has been deemed imperative. Diosdado Lorenzo gave way for his Philippine art to move towards boundless expression, quality, and beauty. Lastly, the watercolored still life of Diosdado Lorenzo is considered to be one of the reassessments of Philippine paintings. Okay, that's all for our discussion. So, did you understand, everyone? Okay, now, since we are done with our discussion, now let's have a review. Okay, so who is Diosdado Lorenzo? He is the famous modernist painter in the Philippines. Very good. What is the name of the painting? And what? Still life. Very good. So what juice Dado uses to paint? Watercolor, very good. So okay, now before we will end our discussion, let's have an activity first. Okay, are you ready? So this activity is entitled Match It. You will match the word to the pictures. So okay, are you ready? Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go. So okay, are you done? Who got the correct answers? Raise your hands. Okay, very good. Most of you got the correct answer. So, thank you everyone for listening and I hope you learned something. Have a nice day and take care. And the next topic will be discussed by Miss Layca Dogoldogol.
Before we go, by the way, I'm Maria Layca's Dogoldogol. So in the painting or in the picture which is supplication, what did you see in the painting? What is the woman doing? Anyone? Okay, the woman is holding a baby. What else? Okay, the woman is kneeling in front of Jesus. Good answer. So the woman in the painting was kneeling in front of Jesus, holding her baby, and I think she was asking something from Jesus. And we don't know what it is. Only God knows. And I know all of you have a different meaning about this. So now, let me discuss to you who is the person or artist behind this painting. Supplication. Do you have any idea? Who is the painter? So, he is Vicente Rivera. He was a Filipino painter who was born in 1872. He was a master in Philippine painting and is commonly underrated due to the rarity of his works. So during his early years in education, he received a silver medal after taking 2 head studies. So Rivera gave privilege to us and to all Filipino painter, and did you know all of his painting was sold in auctions. So another one, he also received various nominations and awards in the field of painting. So as a Filipino, I am proud of him and I do believe that he excelled in the field of arts that I have no potential. So unknown to everyone, he is one of the founders of UP School of Fine Arts in 1938, together with schools like Guillermo Tino, Fernando Amorsolo, Pablo Amorsolo, Ambrosio Morales, Ramon Buenafe, and Dan Fabian de la Rosa. Did you know his famous work was Supplication? He depicts a picture of a woman kneeling down on the nailed feet of Jesus on the cross. That was painting that I have told you a while ago. So the painting Supplication is a dramatic background to clearly express the spirit state of a woman. The painting of Rivera was based on his emotions, perspectives, of what he sees in our surrounding, and what he painted about the woman who is kneeling in front of the cross of Jesus. He knew how the woman loved her child so much that he knew to Jesus asking for help to save her child. So now, let's go to another work of Vicente Rivera. The first painting is Pauwi in 1993. The word Pauwi was familiar to us, right? He painted this because he knew that if we're going home from our hometown, we are so happy to get back where we belong. And like me, who studied in urban area, during school break, I am happy to pauwi in my hometown. So the second painting is Landscape in 1993 together with Pauwi. The painting is all about the washer women together with her child who go in lake to wash their cloth. So the third painting is Washer Women. So in 1939, the women wanted to go to lake washing the cloth as it was the traditional washer since it is not high-tech dishwashing that time. So the fourth and fifth painting was Visage and Visage Cubano. It is all about the lake and the beautiful trees around the lake. So, and lastly, the Bahay Kubo in 1924. The traditional houses of the Filipino, I think some Filipino houses Bahay Kubo nowadays. So it is famous examples on our work of a stylish and organized approach with Philippine painting. So Rivera's organization in paintings made it more apparently to the subject, thus inspiring painters to put more passion in their painting rather than painting to make name for themselves. So now, since you know the famous painting and artwork of Rivera, it will test you skills in remembering and organizing the correct word. So here's the first painting. So what it is? Okay, correct. It is Russian women. So next, second painting is so correct. It is Bahay Kubo, the traditional houses of Filipino. The third painting was correct. It is Pauwi. The last painting is correct. Supplication. I hope you've learned a lot from me. So now, Ma'am Jeny Dua will be next to you. Ma'am Jen?
Thank you very much, Miss Layca, for introducing me as the next reporter today. Good morning, class. But before I proceed to our short discussion this morning, I will show you a painting. And kindly guess what it's shown. Okay, very good. And that is the spoliarium. Next, the second one is who is known for painting, drawing, and sculpture. Okay, who will volunteer, class? Okay, very good. And that is Juan Luna. This morning, I will discuss to you about Juan Luna. So, Juan Luna was born on October 23, 1857. He is a Filipino painter, sculptor, and a political activist of the Philippine Revolution during the late 19th century. And he became one of the first recognized Philippine artists. Juan Luna's achievements helped to inspire other Filipinos to think of themselves as equal to the Europeans. His greatest masterpiece is the Spolarium. And the paintings of Juan Luna were the first Filipino works of art to become famous inside and outside of the Philippines because of its meaning and significance. Juan Luna produced work in the Romantic and clearly impressional styles, achieving great exposition of Europe. This won prizes as well as many prizes for his work. And this won him a gold medal at the National Exposition in Fine Arts that held in Madrid. His patriotism by painting one such masterpiece to enlighten Filipinos out of oppression, and his painting showed great impact and influence on the Filipino people, truly something that not all artists can possess. Lastly, he is certainly a very influential artist and has in this painting style of his own, making him, without a doubt, one of the renowned national artists. And that is all about Juan Luna's life, and I hope that you will really understand and you learn something from my short discussion. So, any clarifications, suggestions? Okay, so please get one part sheet of paper, and for your assignment tomorrow, I will dictate and you write it in your assignment notebook, and kindly narrate why is Juan Luna called a hero. Write at least 2 sentences only. Are you done? Okay. Thank you very much, class, for your cooperation this morning. Before we end, I will introduce to you the next reporter, Miss Golda Faustino, ma'am.
Hello everyone, good day. I am Golda Faustino, and before we will proceed to our discussion for the next artist, let's have a guessing game first. And this game is called Hangman. All you need to do is to guess the letters in the blanks to form the word. And you also have the clues for you to easily guess the missing letters. Now let's proceed to the first word. And the clue is, it is an artistic form in which hard or plastic materials are worked into three-dimensional art objects. What word is this? Now let's proceed to the second word. And the clue is, he is a famous Filipino sculptor. Who is this? Now let's proceed to the last word. It stands as an enduring symbol of the Filipinos' cry for freedom. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Now let's proceed to our discussion. I was assigned to discuss one of a famous Filipino artist, Guillermo Tolentino. And now let's find out who is Guillermo Tolentino and learn more about his life and his works. Guillermo Estrella Tolentino was born on July 24, 1890 in Malolos, Bulacan, Captaincy General of the Philippines. He was the 4th child in his family and had 7 siblings. His parents were Isidro Tolentino and Balbina Estrella. Tolentino was a famous Filipino sculptor and professor of the University of the Philippines. Before being interested in sculptures, he learned how to play the guitar, a skills which he inherited from his father. The young Tolentino showed an early talent in sculpting, having been able to mold horses and dogs out of clay. Tolentino studied in Malolos during his intermediate year, where he first learned how to draw and took up his secondary studies in the same city. After studying in Malolos, he went to Manila to pursue and completed a degree in fine arts in 1915 at the University of the Philippines. In 1919, Tolentino went to the United States to pursue further studies on scholarship grant from Bernard Baruch of New York University Poe School of Arts. He graduated from New York with honors in 1921. He returned to the Philippines in 1924 and became a professor at the University of the Philippines School of Fine Arts in 1926. From 1953 to 1955, Tolentino served as director of School of Arts of the University of the Philippines, and he retired in 1955 as Professor Emeritus. He was known as the master of classical sculpture. He is hailed as the father of Philippine arts. One of his notable and famous work is the Bonifacio Monument, and it was acknowledged as his masterpiece and completed in 1933. The Bonifacio Monument in Caloocan stands as an enduring symbol of the Filipinos' cry for freedom. The monument is now the major landmark of Caloocan City. He also sculpted the University of the Philippines' most recognizable emblem, the UP oblation that signifies academic freedom. Tolentino received national recognition for his work on the Bonifacio Monument, now a major landmark of Caloocan City. His winning design of the monument featured an obelisk with a bird of freedom perched atop of it. Around the monument's base stand life-size figures of members of the Katipunan led by Bonifacio. He was designated as a National Artist of the Philippines of Sculpture in 1973, 3 years before his death. In 1970, he was also conferred the President's Medal of Merit for contributions to nation building through his outstanding work in arts, particularly in sculpture. Tolentino also received a Republic Cultural Heritage Award in 1967 for his contribution in preserving, developing, and enriching the Filipino culture. Tolentino also designed the medals for the Ramon Magsaysay Awards as well as the seal of the Republic of the Philippines. And he died on July 12, 1976 at the age of 85. And that's all for Guillermo Tolentino. I hope you learned something from my discussion about Tolentino's life. Now let's have a short quiz from what I have discussed earlier to test your understanding. And this is a matching type test, and all you have to do is to match column A to column B. Read the description in column A and find the appropriate answer in column B. Write the letters of the correct answer on a separate sheet of paper. And that's all for our discussion. Again, we are the Group 2. I hope you learned something from us. Thank you so much for listening and for your cooperation. Keep safe and God bless. Bye!